also live on where are we? I was going to say TikTok. We're not live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. Hello. How are we?
Oh, that's better.
Is everybody having a good week?
Oh, it's half term. I've got 4 kids in the house. It's chaotic, as always.
What about you, Naomi?
Yeah, you keep freezing, Vic. You're not moving. Can you?
Oh yeah, you just.
Oh, there we go. You're back again now. You're back. It has been just funny enough. I've just written my weekly newsletter to go out tonight to all my subscribers, and I always have to like sit here for a minute and look at the week. Do you know when you're like, what has actually happened this week?
Yeah.
And it has just been, it's been a bit of a milestone week this week.
Oh, what's happened?
Well, I think it ties into our subject that we're going to be talking about today. The Lunar New Year. The snake has left, the fire horse is here, and I have had some huge shifts personally and professionally, and it feels like they have come literally as the old year has left and the new year has started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, considering we're talking about loyalty, leadership, and letting go, it came to me. This is how much our production team works. It came to me last night. So I was having a conversation. I was having a conversation with someone, and it made me realize that there's a lot around this at the moment, and whether people realize it or not, there's a lot happening around loyal leadership and friendships. So sort of like, because when we come into business, especially, we come in, and I don't know if you look for it, but you hope that you're not on your own. So it's so refreshing when you meet other people who are going through something that you're going through. So then you clamber together, and you become friends, and you like each other, and you have varying amounts of closeness with each other. And then you realize then that you've got to know the business side, but you've not got to know the personal side. And the loyalty comes from the person that you've met from a professional side. But then you start to realize that you don't have the same values. I hate those terms, but values as other people. So then you start to think, okay, so the professional side works well or could work well, but the values aren't matching. And it's like, and I find a lot of people at the moment are in that turmoil of, do I stay or do I go? What will people say? Am I making the right decision? And you start second guessing yourself. And some people just let relationships just fade out, and other people leave, and it causes so much ruckus. And then other people just torment themselves for years, not knowing what to do. And I thought it's a really good topic to have, because I'm sure we're all mature enough to have had spaces where you have had loyalty, you have had friendships. We're all in leadership roles, and in some cases we've had to let go. So Naomi, I'm going to give you the floor, because you've got something for us straight away.
I feel like you've just described my life for the last 6 months.
I'm getting a lot of clients coming to me with these problems. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I've moved through the problems. So maybe that's quite a poignant thing. When I saw your title for today, I was just like, oh yeah, this feels really aligned. Yeah, about midway through last year, I realized there were, and again, we use all these words, and sometimes I kind of like go, oh, they're a bit cringeworthy. But I felt out of alignment halfway through last year with lots of different things, with spaces that I was in, with relationships that had shifted, changed, maybe where I've evolved and they hadn't, and various different things. And I made a really conscious decision to walk away from some things, investments, people, places, all those different things, but also to face some of those things. I think there's there are times to step away and say nothing. There are also times to have the uncomfortable conversations And I would say that the second half of last year, I had some of the most uncomfortable conversations in my personal and professional life that I would have years ago avoided, hidden from, walked away from. But I felt from a values perspective and I guess being congruent with myself and in alignment, I needed to have some uncomfortable conversations, and I did those. But what it's allowed me to do is let go. And this week I've let go of something that has been a part of my identity for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
A really, really big part of my identity. And this week on Monday, which it was ironic that it was the last day of the lunar year. It wasn't planned. It just, again, I was in alignment. It all just kind of happened. It came to fruition. And I feel in this place now where I'm in the right spaces. And yes, I've walked away from some spaces, some investments, some people that I thought would be in my life forever, in the business world as well as personally. And you said something really interesting. And I've been writing a post on this today, because this trust recession isn't just about trusting other people. It's people not trusting themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
And I didn't have self-trust the whole of my life. I second-guessed every decision I made in my corporate career, in my relationships, in my friendships, in my health, weight loss, all those different things. And finally, 1 week away from 51, that self-trust has never been stronger. So I now have the confidence, and that's not ego, and that's not because I'm better than other people or anything like that. I finally have the confidence to walk away from rooms that aren't serving me, people that aren't serving me, investments. And I don't mean not serving me as in like I'm not getting anything out of them, like a transactional, but as in they're not serving my energy, my health, my well-being, my alignment in how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty transformative 6 months for me, I'd say.
Amazing. Congratulations. And how do you feel?
Lighter than I have ever felt.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And life, I put this in my newsletter today. Life isn't perfect. Rochelle, you've got half term, children at home. This week I've had all manner of things with my dad. Hospital appointments that he hadn't realized had been cancelled, things on the diary in the wrong places, all sorts of things to navigate. Life is never going to be perfect, but I feel the most calm, collected, and at peace with everything.
I love that. And thanks for sharing, because I think a lot of people need to hear that, because especially people who are in limbo, and maybe people who are just about to realize that they're in that space where maybe they do need to let go, and maybe they do need to name what's going on, because it's also finding the language about what's going on as well. Because sometimes you just when you're at a level where you either own a business or you're working for someone, as someone who, when they go and help out in corporate, they're very, very senior. I'm just go. So it takes me a while to actually be able to put language to actually what I could be emotionally going through. So to have that moment and to say, look, if something doesn't align with you right now, it's time to just take a check with yourself, and that's part of leadership, leading yourself. Rochelle, any thoughts?
Any thoughts? Yeah. So I was just thinking about how you've still had all these things happening, and there's always things going on, isn't there? But if you'd have had all that baggage, it would have been a lot harder to deal with all those things going on. And I think that's the difference. It's not that bad things and difficult things are always happening. It's just our ability to be able to deal with them, the changes, and having released all that baggage sounds amazing. For me, the things that with the title, the things that have been going through my head is more to do with the friendship side of things, and I'm very good at initial friendships. I'm not very good at building friendships. Victoria's amazing at it. What do I struggle with? I struggle with knowing how often I should keep in touch with someone, when to get in touch. I also struggle with time. So I feel like I can have someone who is a really good friend, and then all of a sudden I've not spoken to them for a year. And it's not intentional. It's not because I've fallen out with them or something's happened. It's just life gets in the way. And like this week, I feel like I've lost a week somewhere. And that now it's going to be the last week of February next week. And I'm like, when did that happen? So some of the things that I should have done, like by now, have not happened because I've just lost track of the time. Days have just disappeared. And I think that's what happens for me with friendships. But then I've had some friendships in my life where people who I've not wanted particularly to have a friendship with have attached themselves to me and not let go. Like Victoria, if I didn't want you in my life, you could potentially be one of these people, but you're not. But you're definitely not one of those people.
Aren't these called the octopus friends?
Listen.
I heard that. So I very much want Victoria in my life, so keep calling me, keep messaging me, stay in my life. But there have been other people who have attached themselves to me and want me to be a part, and then are very demanding with what they want from me. And I saw a post the other day, I think it was, Lisa Johnson had shared it to her story. And she said she didn't like it and it was quite brutal. But someone had said there's 2 ways to get rid of a friendship that you don't want. There's like the slow way, or there's that just letting go. And I thought, like, how else are you supposed to do it? You either have a conversation and say, I don't want to be a friend anymore, which is very awkward. Like, I'm not doing that. Or you gradually just lose contact with them. But then there's many people in my life where I've gradually lost contact with them, and they maybe think that that's intentional, but it's not. Yeah. It's very accidental. And when I think about some of the people that have been in my life that I've lost, it makes me sad. But at the same time, there's only so much room and capacity that you've got for people in your life.
Yeah, you are good at it though. It's like, I remember when we first connected Rochelle and I actually became what do you call them, accountability partners. ECA actually called me up and said, Rochelle's just joined, would you mind doing the accountability? But I'd seen Rochelle about a year before. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, I really would like to get to know her. So I was like, can I call her and ask her? So we did. And then we just share so many similar values. We're very similar. Like when we talk, it's we mirror each other quite funnily, which is quite interesting. We're almost like a femistyle. Like the one moment where when she thinks that I'm being quite harsh, she's quite placid, and then she'll be harsh, and I'm quite placid. It's quite funny to watch.
Yin to the yang.
Yeah. But what's quite interesting though is that you have met me where I'm at with the friendship, because I am an outreacher. Like I'm that person. Like the reason why I haven't called you yet, Naomi, is because I don't know your pattern yet. So it's like I'm getting to know you and stuff. But normally I'm the person that will call you up and go, "How are you? How are you doing?" and stuff. And if you don't answer, I don't get angry. I don't get offended that you haven't answered. But I'd rather go, "How are you?" on the phone than "How are you?" using code to type and stuff. But it's interesting that we talk about this, because I feel like, especially in business, the friendships developed there are a different type compared to social friendships, because you're meeting somebody who can at least understand what you're going through. And what you're going through is to make money in your business. It's okay. But then you've got all these different attachments to the friendship. So and it's not necessarily that, oh, you need to listen to me all day, but I'm not making sales at the moment. Oh, I am making sales at the moment. Oh, I've had a client who's behaving in this way. There's all these different navigations. The reason that made me talk about this topic is when values stop aligning, when you start to realize that the other side of that person isn't somebody that in real life you wouldn't normally hang out with because of this other side. And also the fact that in some cases, and we've seen it happen a number of times, where people stop respecting your boundaries. So it's like, we're a friend as long as everything's going well. But as soon as you set boundaries, it's like, oh, there's a problem. But the fact of the matter is, you've known me as a leader. So what part of that language or leadership language are you struggling to understand? So that's why I brought this up.
I think there's something that you said, Rochelle, that I kind of really wanted to come back to there, and about friendships at this sort of stage of life, and it doesn't get talked about enough. But actually, there is research that says that this is the hardest point of life, and I am going to use the word midlife because over 35, we are technically in midlife. Sorry, I know other people don't like it. I'm all good with it. Is your house falling down, Rochelle?
Your house falling down.
I think it might be. I think it might be.
But technically, this stage, midlife, is the hardest point of life for friendships. And funny enough, I was voice noting one of my friends this morning. She's my oldest friend. We were at school together. So we have known each other now for 2 at 8, 51, 43 years.
No.
Yeah. And we've been through everything. Like, I lost my mum as a teenager. She lost her brother. She lost one of her twins. Her parents have both died now. We have been through what you could say literally every stage of each other's lives. We lost contact for a good few years before social media, when the only way of contacting was letters, and you moved address once and then you lost contact, or mobile numbers changed or whatever. But we've been back in each other's lives for a long time now, and we can literally go a year without seeing each other. We can sometimes go for months without speaking, but we now have that friendship. Is it called a real ship, where you just send each other like Instagram reels and put us, laugh out loud, but then we leave each other voice notes that are 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long. And why I came back to Rochelle's point was because I think we are, if you think about how we're conditioned and programmed from an early age, quite a lot of us, this is a familial thing, that you nurture your friendships, blood is thicker than water, all these things. And so we see that when a relationship breaks down, whether that's an intimate relationship, a business relationship, a personal relationship, when it breaks down, we see it as failure.
Yeah.
Because we were programmed and conditioned that you nurture relationships, you forgive people, you do these different things. But actually, one thing that has really helped me this last, I'm going to say 2 years, because again, having quite a lot of loss as a young age, I was scared to lose people in my life. I would let people treat me like dirt in relationships, in, friendships, in my family, because I didn't, I'd rather have them than lose them. And then 2 years ago, as I was working through this journey myself of letting go of, rejection and letting go of situations and things, the reason, the season, the lifetime is now something that I live my life by. Not everybody comes into my life to stay here for the rest of it. Not every business contact, not every client, not every relationship, not every, even family members. But sometimes people meet you at the chapter that you just need that at that chapter. And, I look back and I think, God, I've had some really intense friendships, not like as in like suffocating, but really intense. And now I don't even connect with those people. And that's not because if I bumped into them outside my flat today, I wouldn't say, oh my God, come in and have a coffee. Although I probably wouldn't say that because, I don't like people having people in my home. I'd probably say, should we go out for a coffee? But it's not that I don't like them. It's not that I hate them. It's not that we had an argument. But a bit like you said, Rochelle, my life has a lot in it. And my energy is really important. And who I spend my time with is really important. And I will go through chapters where, I don't see people. And my dad has taken up a lot of space in my life that I used to have to nurture my friendships, to do those things. So I also have that very open and honest conversation. And my closest friends that I do want in my life, I have over the last 2 years said to them, listen, you need to understand this chapter of my life is different. I'm not available now for, Sunday evening FaceTimes for an hour and, dropping everything and coming out for lunch next week or coming up to stay for a weekend. Yes, let's make it happen. Let's continue to nurture this friendship, but in a way that doesn't feel like a task.
Yeah.
You know,
On obligation.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a place I've got to in my life, that my friendships now, my relationships, everything is based on mutual respect, mutual understanding. And if somebody else can't accept and understand that that's the chapter I'm in my life, I that's out of my control.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass you on to Rochelle, who I muted for a while.
It was chaos. I don't know what they were doing.
But before I go to the other stuff, I was gonna say this. It's like I had that, and you know, I had a friend, and you know, I still see her as a friend, but we're very different. She's not in business. I was really struggling. And when I talk struggling, I was right at the beginning when things were not great, when things were not, you know, things were not moving, and it was a really tough time. And I just didn't have the capacity to have that kind of friendship where it was like high intensity, but when we were speaking, it wasn't about it wasn't helping me in any way. It was just blah 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 blah, and it sounds awful, but it's like that doesn't help me bring in more clients. That doesn't help me understand my messaging. That doesn't help me. And at the time, that's what was important to me. And I had to say, we can't talk every day. We can't. And whilst I know that this friend went through a huge amount of grief, so did I, because it was also changing my routine as well. It was like, oh, I'm not going to pick up the phone because I have to focus on this. This is really important. I need to make this work. And, you know, we come back to Rochelle and I and stuff. Again, we can talk, but we always make sure that we support each other. But again, I don't think we've got space for another person in a similar relationship. Like somebody else couldn't come in and have that. Another business friend couldn't come in and go, you know, do you want to? There is no space for that. There isn't, because, but to be fair, we're also productive with what we do. So we hold each other accountable. We help each other. Like we can have a 10-minute conversation, but equally we can have an hour conversation. And
or 4 hours.
But yeah, have we ever done 4 hours? I don't think we've done 4 hours. But it's knowing that, you know, you can get stuff from it. Rochelle laughs at me because when we start speaking, I record the conversation, because then I pull out what's useful. I pull out what's useful, and I go away and I take action, rather than it just being an empty conversation. So I'm so much more intentional. Rochelle, thoughts?
So you said that I'm good at meeting you where you are, and I think I learned that from a bad friend. Because I didn't message her for 3 weeks once, and she was like fuming at me, and I was like, oh my god, what have I done wrong? Because most of the friendships that I've had in my life are very much like so I've got there's a group of 6 of us who I think 4 of them went to primary school together. We've been friends since secondary school. Like we sometimes, like over Christmas, we saw each other every single week. Sometimes I might see one of them 3 times in a week, and then other times we might go for 6 weeks without talking. So it's very much like, it's just we know each other there. If we need each other, we're there. If we want each other, we're there. But we also know we're all very busy. We've all got separate friendships outside of the 6 of us. We've all got partners. Most of us have got children. So we're very fluid. It never goes longer than a few months without us seeing each other, and we are very conscious of making sure we're booking time. So we have like a book club, so we're all reading the same book, and then we meet up at one of the houses every like 6 to 8 weeks, just to make sure that we're fitting each other in and making that time and space for each other. So then when I had this friend who was like, you've not messaged me for 3 weeks, and I was like, well, you've not messaged me for 3 weeks, but apparently she was testing me to see how long I could potentially go without messaging her. And I'm like, well, I could just go forever, to be honest, because like that would have been fine for me. But she was always one that when I did try to distance myself a little bit from her, she would pull me back in. She wouldn't let me go. But I did learn a lot from that friendship as well, of going, right, okay, I understand that different people have different needs and different and want different levels of contact. So being able to say, right, okay, this is somebody who I can talk to once a year, this is somebody I talk to more often, and also looking at my own needs as well. Like, if Victoria doesn't ring me for a week, I'm like, have you fallen out with me?
I get the message. She's like, where are you? Why have you called? I'm like,
I love bombing you, Victoria, with gifts.
I'm like, girl, I'm the one that likes the calls. And she's like, where are you? Why haven't you called? You don't love me anymore. I'm like, okay. So the other day I called and I went, I have nothing to say, but I'm just calling because I have a call.
But realizing that I can be quite needy sometimes in friendships and relationships, but knowing like what that person needs and what you need from it. So like, I speak to my mum pretty much every morning, and I know like over the weekend, sometimes I don't always speak to her at the weekend. If Chris is home and we're doing stuff, I'll always message her, but I don't always speak on the phone. But I can sense in the messages that she's feeling a bit, she might be watching this, so I have to be careful what I say. She'll message me in a minute like, what? But I know, but I feel guilty if I've not spoken to her every day. Whereas my dad, I love my dad, but I can go for a month without speaking to him because it's a different relationship. I tried calling him last week. He didn't answer his phone. I sent him a message. He didn't reply. Then the next day he liked my Instagram story. So I know he's alive. I know he's all right. And for whatever reason.
So you take after your dad, basically.
Yeah. So whatever reason is he didn't want to talk to me at this moment, but he's still my friend because he liked my Instagram story.
Oh, that's so funny. Can I just say as well that you know, I love the fact that we're talking about the friendships, because I think friendships are really important. But I also want to ask you guys, ladies, a question before, you know, because I'm very aware that we don't stay on here for that long. What about the friends who stop respecting your boundaries, especially in business? You know, I've heard where sometimes, I don't know, like Rochelle and I sometimes will attend each other's events and stuff, and we'll say, hey, just come along, but, you know, come hang out. But equally and stuff, there's times where we may think, do you know what, we're gonna have to charge you for this and stuff, and I know we both would go, sure, you know, here you are. I have offered Rochelle money before and stuff, and she's like, I can't take it. But she feels it. But my point is, but if Rochelle came to me and said, this is how much it's going to cost, I would be like, okay.
Yeah.
There are people who, and it's not just about money, but it's just in where those things where you're changing as you're growing in your business and you're setting up boundaries. Naomi, have you experienced yet where friends have, she's just not in. Go on, tell us.
I actually have an example for this week.
Oh my.
Yeah, so yes, 100%. And also, look, I was a people pleaser for the whole of my life until a couple of years ago. I've worked so hard on my personal and professional boundaries because I didn't have any.
Yeah.
And I want to come back to something that Rochelle said about, well, actually, all three of us have said this about time and space. Yeah. But I think one word that we have not said enough is capacity. There is a difference between having time, having space, and having capacity. And I used to spend my life feeling like, oh my God, I haven't got the time, but I have to say yes because it's my dad or it's my sister or it's, you know, somebody else in business, it's a client. So what I've done with my boundary setting is, you know, put really healthy boundaries in that now respect my capacity, not just my time and space. Now, somebody actually emailed me this week, and if I'd had that email even probably 6 to 12 months ago, I'd have done the thing that they asked for. And what they were asking for really was my free time, my free knowledge to help them to do something they would financially benefit from. Okay. Now, I will give everything to my community, my neighbors, my family, my friends, business people, everybody. However, I draw the line when I have invested over £100,000 to learn the knowledge that's in here now that other people now want for free.
Yeah.
So instead of going back and saying, you know, oh, I don't have time or whatever, I actually put my boundary in place and I went back and said, I don't have the capacity for this right now alongside my paid work. However, if you would like my help and support and want to look at what that could look like, I'm happy for us to have that conversation.
We need to write this sentence down. That's a great sentence.
Recorded, put it into Fathom.
I feel like you should charge for that sentence alone.
And here's the thing. I've not had a reply, and I didn't expect to get a reply. And it might be that reply hasn't happened because it's got lost in an inbox or it's been busy. But also it may be that reply hasn't been replied to because that wasn't what the person was expecting.
No. But the thing is, though, we should respect that. I mean, I've reached out to people sometimes and I said, well, there's a couple of people I know for sure who are they're really on their game and they're being paid left, right, and center. And I reached out to one of them. We're not close, but I reached out and said, hey, you know, what would you be looking at? And it was above my budget at the time to pay. And they said, we would do it for this, that minimum. I said, I completely appreciate it. I will come back when that's within my budget. Because the fact of the matter is, you need to respect people's boundaries. And it's the only way you're going to get yours respected as well. You know, it's like, if you can respect others, then they'll start respecting you. And I'm finding it happening a lot where people are taking advantage, I was going to swear then, but people are taking advantage of other people because they're trying to almost like back them into a corner and stuff. It's like I don't do a lot of free work, if I'm really honest and stuff. Like, I'm really, really strict. And I remember when I first met Rochelle and stuff, she's like, I'm speaking about you getting paid. She was like, it's either I get paid or I have a rider.
Yes.
So I'm really particular about that. So it's like, I either get paid or I get a rider. If I can get a rider, brilliant. So I spoke a couple of years in Birmingham and I was like, you pay for my transport, you pay for my hotel, like literally. And to be fair, I was treated like a queen. I got everything and stuff. And also it was a great networking opportunity. And I also got clients from that. But right now, and I also don't believe that if I come and speak in your audience for free, I'm going to get your audience.
Yes.
I don't believe that anymore. And so I used to think that. I used to be like, oh God, if I speak in your audience for free, then people will see me. It doesn't work because energetically, it's not fair. So it just doesn't work. So I stopped doing that and stuff. And I've stopped volunteering. I stopped volunteering for a lot of stuff because of that. I'm like, no, because I know it's not going to make a difference. I know what's going to make a difference. And that's me showing up in my business, speaking my truth, the results I get with my clients. That's what's going to get me noticed. It's not being part of your community or your audience.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So I really struggle with business relationships because I just I find lines very blurry. I'm like I don't want to charge my friends, but then I also know that I can't just give everything away for free. And I feel like I've been burnt quite a few times probably in business and in like when I had a job where you think people are your friends, while like I've had it with people like radio stations and like marketing companies, people who won the contract from the company that you're working with or want your business, so they become your friend. And I think, oh, they like me, they're genuinely a friend. And then as soon as that opportunity is not available anymore, they're no longer interested in being your friend. And I really struggle with that, or for people like worming the way in to try and get something from you. So then and that's probably one of the reasons why I do struggle with friendships in general. I then put a boundary up. I'm like, well, I can't make friends because I don't know what you want from me. Why do you want to be my friend? Is it because you want to take something from me, or is it because you genuinely like like my company? What's happening then?
I'm just laughing because my head's going, what can I take from Rochelle? You're making me vindictive because I'm like, what can I take from her? What can I take from her? No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, I think that's it. Oh, and then quite early on in my business as well, I had someone who like almost pretended that she was interested in property to get me on a call and then sell me some Arbonne or something like that. And I was like, oh, I thought we like I thought you were genuinely interested in my business. We got on well. I asked you about your business. I wanted to buy the Arbonne stuff, but actually she just used it as a way to get in, because if she'd have just said to me, do you want to get on a call about Arbonne, I'd have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say, so here's something very, very different that we've not talked about, the race thing. So I never used to think like this. But the older I get, I realize that some friendships are based on tick the box. Like I have a black friend, and I am so, I'm going to say naive when it comes to that. And so with all my wisdom and everything else, I try and not bring my profession into when I meet people. So I just meet people and I go, hi, you know, and I will say hi and I will talk to you until I feel that. And when I feel it, Rochelle's experienced it where I feel it and I go, something's not aligned. Something's not making sense at all. And I feel like in some cases, there are those friendships as well where people is that whole thing where, and I'm not saying that anybody I know has done this, but like where somebody can say, oh, well, you're racist. And you go, well, no, I'm not. I've got black friends and stuff. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like that whole tick the box thing. I feel like that happens. But my sister really shed a light on something with me years ago. I remember dating someone and it was quite interesting because it wasn't anything serious, but he was just really happy to just sit in my company. But never brought anything to the table. He just sit in my company. And my sister said, people come to you for your energy. And they come and they sap out your energy. And they don't even realize they're doing it, but they just feel really comfortable in your energy. But it's all about them. It has nothing to do with you. And that made me start thinking. So now I'm very much, I actually walked into a room the other day where there was loads of people and I said a very polite hello, but I walked out not really knowing that many people. And I felt really, I was like, oh God, that's such a shame. But I was like, you're so, I'm not protecting myself, but I'm so engrossed in myself and focusing on my self-care that I'm not putting myself out into other people's self-care. And to be honest with you, I don't think there was anything I needed to know. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like I've had to almost learn not to be friendly.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
No, I hear you. I think I always talk about like radiators and drains.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, you are not going to unsee this after today. You are now going to be looking at your family members, your loved ones, your friendships, past relationships, and you are going to be thinking radiator.
Yeah. Drain.
Drain. And yeah, I agree. You know, because we tend to be the radiators.
Yeah.
We do attract other radiators, but we also attract an awful lot of drains. And that has a huge impact on our nervous system, our capacity, our energy, our mental health, all these different things. So one thing I do is I don't cut drains out of my life. I just spend a lot less time with them.
Yeah.
I can dip in and dip out, but I don't want to spend a lot of time energetically with people and that doesn't matter whether it's online, in person, loved ones, friendships, business. I'm becoming more and more and more protective and what's the word I'm looking for? Selective.
Yeah. Very important. I became earlier on, I think around my early 40s, in my 30s, I became a quiet quitter when it came to friendships. So there's some friendships where I just started saying no to invitations. And I said no so many times that they stopped asking. In my 40s, I actually I've pulled up 2 people and gone, it's not going to work out. I've literally gone, it's not going to work. Like literally, as we walk away from here, there's no confusion. We're done. So I've done that with 2 people. And at this age, I probably would do a very similar thing of it's not going to work out. However, I just can't be bothered with the drama. I think I'm at that age now where I'm just like, I can't be asked. But if I don't want you even hanging around, like I don't want to give you a misconception and everything, it's just like it's not gonna happen. And I have no problems with that. I have no issues saying that. It's not something I do often. I'm proud that it's only 2 people, but the 2 people were taking, you know, the piss and stuff. So it's like
I just move a dress and don't give them a fall.
it's just silly. So moving forward, because we're wrapping up, final words and stuff about loyalty, leadership, and letting go. If somebody was, I don't know, if somebody was in this situation or didn't even know they were in this situation, what would your guidance be to them, Rochelle?
Oh, good question. What would my guidance be? I think we're often, as people like me and Naomi, both, well, you're a recovered people pleaser. I am still pleasing people. I think we need to be more selfish. We're always told it's bad to be selfish, and I think that's a problem. Actually, we need to think about ourselves first. And then like be more selfish. I think that's my my takeaway from this. Look at what I want and need from friendships and what I'm willing to give, and then anything else I need to set strong boundaries, which again is one of my weaknesses, but what I'm working on. And I'm hoping by the time I'm reaching 50 I'll have such strong boundaries and be amazing ladies like you two, but I'm still a wee child at 37.
You just called us old. You just called us old in so many words. So
I'm all good with that.
Yeah, thanks.
All good with that.
Yeah, Naomi, what would your guidance be?
Thanks for going to Rochelle first. It gave me a minute to think and go write it down. Okay, so I actually came up with 4 things.
Yeah.
Sit with it. That's something we don't do enough of. We get into this oh my God, what should I do? Oh my God, sit with it. Just sit with the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions that come up. Second one, get curious. Ask yourself questions around why is this not sitting right? What is it about this? Ask yourself the questions. Is it values? Is it alignment? Is it all those different things? Third thing is trust your gut. It's the second brain. And the fourth thing is a piece of advice that my now 92-year-old dad has literally given me since I was old enough to remember. And that is, if in doubt, scrub it out. And he used to say it to me about boyfriends. He used to say it to me about friendships. He used to say it to me about buying something, investing in something. If in doubt, scrub it out. And even now, like at 51 nearly, I still I don't need to as much because I trust myself and I trust my judgment and thoughts and everything else. But sometimes if something comes up, I just think, yeah, there's doubt here. So if there's doubt, scrub it out.
I love that. So for me, it's use your intuition. Use your intuition. You're powerful. You've already got your intuition. Harness it. Yeah. Use it like a muscle. Exercise it. Use your intuition around everything. Like, you know, whether it's around decisions, your discernment, whatever that looks like. You know, if something feels off, trust yourself. Trust yourself. And use your intuition to be able to make that. But next is make sure that every relationship you have is purposeful. Every single relationship you have is purposeful. And that might just be that I just want a really good friend that I can laugh with. That's purpose. If it's like I want a friend who I can, you know, talk about business with and what have you, that's purposeful. But always have a purpose, because once you stop having a purpose around a relationship, that's where you start going off the rails and start exhibiting behaviors that you yourself don't recognize in yourself. That's when you start taking advantage of people. That's when you start overstepping boundaries. When you have a purposeful relationship with someone, or you feel like, and you feel it's both ways as well, it has to work both ways, then you start to respect each other more. That's where the loyalty comes in. That's why, you know, in a room where you guys that aren't there, I will still defend you guys and talk about you guys as if you was right in front of me, as because that to me is loyalty. Because the intention that I moved towards both of you with and stuff was very purposeful. I respect your leadership, and also acknowledging that if there ever comes a time when we need to let go, then with love we let go and stuff, and and if it's not working, you let go, but use your intuition in all those different phases and you'll work out. Ladies, thank you so much. Have a good week.
We are wise women.
Very wise.
We will see you next week. Naomi's not with us next week, but
I'm not here next week.
you're not here. She's not here next week.
Oh.
But we will be, and we'll come up with some other interesting conversations. Let us know if there's other topics you want us to talk about as well. Speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.